Welcome to the Loyal Opposition Podcast. I'm Bernie Flowers, one of Uncle Sam's wayward sons. I intend to talk about important topics every week in hopes of helping to improve our country and our way of life. I ask that you like, share, and subscribe as we try to grow the channel and defend America's middle class. So, let's get started. Our guests today are Mr. Shane Hubbard, Mr. Troy Tailor. They are long-haul truckers, and they've been so since the last 30 years. They've seen this country from sea to shining sea, and they've crossed it many, many times, working hard so that their fellow Americans can have the goods that they need. They are what America is all about. And let me tell you, they got some knowledge to share. Joining them is my battle buddy. You know Vince, Colonel Vince Crabb, that is. Vince has always got something to say. All three of these gentlemen are from Texas, so I call them the Texas Truckers. In light of the challenges that this country is facing right now, I thought you might want to hear what they have to say. And they've got a lot to say about a whole lot of different topics. So without any further ado, Vince, Shane, Troy, how y'all doing?
Doing good. Thank you for having me.
Outstanding, fellas. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you for taking the time to talk to the people. You got a lot of knowledge, and I just want to share it with the folks. And first of all, Shane, where are you at?
I am in the downtown Seattle, Washington, parked on the side of the road.
Are you inside a truck?
Yes, I'm inside the truck as we speak and stuff. I ran out of hours right here, so I'm out of the way. I think I'm in a safe position, but the ELD system, man, is like no more hours to drive, so you got to find somewhere safe to park, or as safe as you can.
Wow, that's totally impressive. You look like you're pretty chilled out, man.
Oh, I'm in the back of this 860 Volvo, man. This new truck, and we get a little spoiled out here, you know what I mean? Now, it ain't like the old days.
Wow, you look real comfortable, man. Troy, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. Doing real good.
Where are you at?
Anderson, Indiana.
Anderson, Indiana. I don't think I've ever been there.
It's just a little bit. It's probably 35, 40 miles north of Indianapolis on 69.
Wow.
69.
Are you in your truck also?
Yes, I'm in my truck.
Wow, that is so cool, man. Trucks are a lot different than they used to be, man. Y'all got doggone bedrooms on wheels out there.
Yeah, this right here, we actually, Shane has the same truck. I actually have a table. It's just like an RV camper.
Can you cook in them things?
Yeah, you cook. We cook in here, and it's an actual table.
Wow.
You could sit four people back here, and then it breaks down into a bed if you wanted to. But yeah, it's just the RV table, and it's like a booth. So
totally impressive. Man, I tell you what, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, being out here 35 years, I've seen the trucks go up. I mean, I've driven trucks that had what they call coffin sleepers. It was right behind the seat. All you had was it wasn't even the size of a twin bed. It was actually smaller than that. And all you do is lay there, or you have to lay on your side, or this right
and
here.
Then you had to crawl through a hole to get in it, remember? And stuff, yeah. Man, you had to crawl through a hole and hope nobody opened the side door and hit you in the head, man.
That is so cool, man. Well, Vince, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm down here in Houston. It's kind of wild. I'm listening to the other fellas talk. One's in Washington, one's in Indiana. I'm down in Houston with my grandchildren and just got back from Buffalo Wild Wings, and you don't get any better than that.
All right. What's that behind you?
Oh, I got the Capitol back here. I got a couple of meetings in the morning with a couple of low-hanging fruit. You know what I'm saying? When I walk in the door, I will be in charge. Trust me.
Well, I don't expect any different. I tell you what, I'd hate to tangle with you. I'm always glad to be on your side, not against you.
Hey, I concur.
There you go. Well, look, we got some stuff here that we need to talk about. And I know that the people want to hear. So let's get going here. First of all, hurricane down south. my neck of the woods. North Carolina is where most of the damage is. You guys have traveled all over this country. What can you tell me about the hurricane response in Western North Carolina?
Well, I was sitting down in Atlanta, Georgia when it came through about 1 mile from the Chattahoochee River. And so when it first came out of Florida, came up through Georgia, I'm sleeping in the top bunk and my truck's rocking and I'm going, Lord Jesus, let me make it, please.
Uh-oh.
Lord Jesus, let me make it and stuff. But man, I think it's been horrible, man. We've got good people everywhere, all through there. People with money, people without money and stuff. What does it matter, man, when you're in a crisis like that? Our government should get down there and help them. And we've got a government going, nope, we don't have the resources for it, but we send money to Ukraine and all these other countries, and I'm like, why would we not feed our people, take care of our people, make sure that our people are okay? And mind you, Miss Vice President, you're in an election time right now. People are going to remember that.
Oh, yeah, I'm certainly going to remember it.
They're going to remember people that might have been going to vote for her. They're going to remember that. You know what I mean? They're not worried about the strike on the East Coast or whatever else. They're worried about their families and their homes that have been destroyed, and that is the most important thing for them at that time. And when nobody shows up, they will never forget that,
There you go. I
Troy,
tell you, go on.
Go ahead, Bernie.
I was going to say that, based on what you said, I heard that they're offering homeowners $750 stipends for, to get them through. But we just gave $8 billion to, Israel, and we gave billions off to Ukraine, and we're giving money to everybody except the American people when they need it the most. And, I know you were alluding to that a little bit, so I'm just going to let you talk and be quiet for a little bit because I know you got something to say.
Well,
jump
Bernie,
on in here, fellas.
It wouldn't matter if they gave them $100,000 right now. They can't get anybody down there to help them. You know what I'm saying? Every day or every hour that they're down there without power and they're in jeopardy and stuff, it doesn't matter if you had $1 million. Can't nobody get to you right now. You know what I mean? Imagine the lives that's going to be lost and stuff down there. Look at the lives of people that we can't find right now down there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We should have helicopters coming in. We should have, military should be coming in and taking care of that. You know what I mean? And
I agree totally.
Vince has done things like that before. Colonel Crabb, and I'm sure you've done some things like that nature, Bernie. Go in and help people,
Yeah, Americans should not suffer, especially with the government and the resources that we have. And we know we've got soldiers deployed to the Middle East to make war, but yet our own people are suffering right now. And I just don't think that's right. But again, people know what I feel about stuff. We want to hear from you all. Troy, what do you think?
All right. Yeah, the response and everything for North Carolina. I just came back from South Carolina. So before I picked this load up, and South Carolina got tore up too.
Sure did.
Everybody's saying, North Carolina, stuff like that. Yeah, they got hit. South Carolina got hit. Georgia got hit.
Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia, Eastern Tennessee. Yeah, the response to them, the American government, there's no response right there. Trying to think. I've been reading on some stuff. I've been reading on some stuff, and I'm not trying to find some information on it about Chimney Rock.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if some of this is true, or I haven't. Some say there is. That they're going to go in. The government's going to go into Chimney Rock in that area right there. The only reason why they're doing that is because they want to bulldoze that town down because there's nothing there, and I don't know how much true it is. I guess they found there's a lot of lithium there.
I've heard that same story, and the sad thing is,
American government's not going to do anything unless it benefits them.
It's a shame, and Another thing I heard is that a lot of those people don't have flood insurance because you're up in the mountains. You wouldn't expect that,
Right.
you'd have a flood, but yet, if they can't pay they can't rebuild their houses, they don't have insurance, they're going to lose their houses. So, Vince, what do you
And then
think?
the government offered $750. Man, what are you gonna do with that, man?
Not a whole lot. So, Vince, what do you think?
Everybody's hit on it, and like Shane said, you and I have been doing this for a long time.
Sure
The
have.
Chinook. A Chinook is, for the people that's going to be listening to this, your audience. A Chinook is a helicopter with two really, really big blades on it. There's a blade on one end and a blade on the other end. Well, Shane and Troy, they pull anywhere from 40 footers up to 55-foot trailer. A Chinook helicopter can carry 40 to 45 foot worth of equipment, food, water. So that's one Chinook helicopter. Do you know how many Chinook helicopters are in our inventory? A lot.
A whole lot.
So to tell me that we don't have the resources from a strategic military guy, I have to call the bullshit flag on that. That's not correct. We do have it. You're choosing, Mr. President, Vice President, you're choosing not to help. You're making a choice. You do have a choice. You got Americans, not illegal people, but you have Americans that are in need. Maybe they're not rich. Maybe they're just good old folks from the hills of Appalachian. But you know what? They're still Americans. Let me take it one step further. Let's just say there are some illegal folks up in there, but maybe they're still good people too. Bottom line is there's people that need help. We do not turn our back on people. We Americans do not do that normally. But look at us right now. This is pathetic. Absolute pathetic. You got a border that's wide open. You've got, the strike that's going on.
Yep.
And, I've just recently heard that maybe our vice president has worked out some kind of deal, but it's a quick fix is all it is. It's a quick fix. And the only reason she would do that, her being Vice President Kamala Harris, you're trying to make it look like to the American people, look at me, look what I did. I came in. Let me tell you who did what. President Trump went in there. He's not even in the White House yet. But he went in there with some of his friends, got a large amounts of money, and they've already started taking water and food to these people. Or you got people up in the hills. Yeah, you got a lot of bridges. You've got a lot of roadways that have just been washed out. There's no way into them. But we have a plethora of helicopters. We have ways to get food, water, medical supplies. I haven't even heard that hardly talked about on the television.
Wow.
Let's talk about medical. Do you know how many people up there, I don't know, diabetics? I don't know, people that's on life support? Do you know how many lives we're going to lose because of that?
Well, Vince, let me ask you this. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Fort Bragg, our Fort Bragg, used to be on that, what do they call it, Fort Liberty now?
Roger.
Yeah, my son is there right now, 82nd Airborne.
But
Micaiah Hubbard, that's my boy.
how many Chinooks would you think there's at Fort Bragg?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I'm going to go with probably 200 to 300.
Now let me get this right. Let's see. Augusta, Georgia. Isn't that Fort Stewart?
Roger.
Okay. How many Chinooks you think you got down there? Not far from Western North Carolina.
About the same. Yep.
Let's see. Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Same thing. I mean, all that down in there. All of
Camp
that.
Swampy, Marine Corps, Camp Lejeune.
Same thing. Same
And
thing.
you tell me that they can't send some heavy lift helicopters and some medical people off to Western North Carolina, a short helicopter ride away?
What else do we do there, Colonel Flowers? Do we not parachute humanitarian aid into places?
82nd Airborne, that's what they do.
Huh? We parachute food, we parachute water, we parachute medicines, and then we'll parachute our soldiers in there to help them if need be. So when you stand up there on the podium at the White House and tell me, well, we just can't do it. Let me tell you something. You need to get up off your ass and do your job. These are Americans. Forget about Democrat, forget about Republican. These are American people that need help.
Yep.
And every minute that goes by, we're sitting in air conditioning. You know, they're sitting in their nice trucks. You know, you're in your home. I'm in my son's house. You know what these people are doing? They're sitting in a pile of mud, hoping somebody hadn't forgot about them.
Yeah.
So these Chinooks you're talking about, that's in the inventory, that's sitting there not running. FEMA. I've worked with FEMA a lot in the years in the military. I've done a lot of this stuff that we're talking about here right now. You know, when a hurricane, any disaster that comes along, we show up. We, military, we show up with stuff to help. I guarantee you, if Trump was in there right this minute, he would already contacted FEMA and said, go to your supply closet, open them doors, and get it out there and get it out there now. Go help them people. We got debris removal. We got ice that needs to be delivered. We got dead bodies that need to be picked up. We got all this stuff. And then the president makes the comment, well, you know, that's where the American people are just going to have to help out. If I'm not mistaken, that's what he said. All you fellas, that y'all heard him say that?
Well, I heard him say that.
Mind you, we're all, you know, the strike has been going on and the grocery stores have cleared out. So people that are not even involved in any of that are worried about, damn, where am I going to get a loaf of bread at? Am I going to be able to feed my family tonight? I didn't see this coming, so I didn't go grocery shopping. So now I try to go grocery shopping, and guess what? The panic buying has started. So now everybody's out of everything. They said there's 10,000 stores out of toilet paper right now.
My goodness. That's crazy.
What's behind this? Y'all think about this. Think about your history now. Think about Katrina. Think about what we're going through right here. Think about, let's call it, California, all the fires and stuff out there. And then when you go, I didn't see this coming, again, throw the bullshit flag here. You have seen it coming. You should have pre-planned. You should have people in place and waiting. As soon as the bad weather moved on, we should have had people deployed. We should have had all of these resources en route. And now we're still talking about it? Are you kidding me? How many days later are we into this? And I mean, we're going to lose people.
This stuff started at the beginning of the week on, what was that, Sunday night when this stuff came in? I've already been back to Dallas, reloaded, did 3 stops up into Washington, man. So, my God, all these days, these people have been down there in torment. Just absolute torment, man, praying for somebody just to show up, man.
What do you think is going to happen, though? People are going to get desperate. And when people get desperate, what do? They
start taking, murder starts happening, man, and stuff.
There you go.
Just like Katrina, when Katrina hit and stuff, and it took us a few days to get down there on Katrina. You remember? It was like, oh, my God, they're animals. No, they were trying to survive is what they were doing. Now, mind you, there were some criminals down there doing some stuff they shouldn't have been doing, but we had to send military in there to even just get that under control to get help at that point because they let them sit too long, man.
It was a mess. But Troy, do you know any more about that whole lithium mine thing? Because from what I understand, they've discovered a huge deposit. And, we try to keep up with stuff. Me and Vince talk about this stuff all the time. But apparently, this is something relatively new. And if they've got lithium there, it's going to change the whole game.
Yeah, I don't know. It just come in. What I was seeing on it, what I was reading on it, it just come in today.
Mm-hmm.
They knew it was there, but they couldn't touch it. What I'm understanding, they couldn't touch it because the ancestors had the land, everything else like this. Here, I'm thinking is more of a land grab now. All right, it's destroyed. This town is destroyed. They what they were saying, there were still bodies, there's still bodies hanging, in the trees, in the trees, dead bodies and everything. And what they're worried about is, oh yeah, we could get equipment in there, but we're going, bulldozers and everything. So we bulldoze that town so they can grab the land.
Yeah.
This is what I'm understanding, what I'm reading on it. And I guess they already knew that there was a big deposit of lithium there. If not, they wouldn't have bothered worrying about bulldozing a town.
Absolutely crazy. And
I mean, in the middle, in the middle of the mountains and stuff like that. Why would the American government want to just go in and help clean up the town for them? No, they want the lithium.
Yeah.
And I wonder, believe me, that's going to come out more and more. I just found out today and was reading a little bit on it.
Well, we'll have to keep up with that.
Yeah. Like I said, I kind of understand what the people down there in North Carolina, South Carolina, stuff like that. It wasn't, what I went through wasn't as bad as, a hurricane going through there. But January 1st, 2006, my little town of Ringgold, Texas, it's just a dot on the map. I mean, there was probably maybe 150 people in my town by that time. That day, the wind was blowing 50, 55 miles an hour, and electrical line broke, or it twisted, and it sparked, and we didn't have any rain for 7 months. I mean, you walk on our grass, it was like walking on matchsticks.
Mm.
And that day, all it did was a little spark, and here it went. We had a wildfire that took out, I'm trying to think how many acres they said, 140,000 acres in 3 hours. I mean, that's how fast this stuff was moving. The fire it started about 3 miles from me. Within 10 minutes, it was in my front door.
Wow.
And it literally just came through and just took out 47 buildings and structures in my town within an hour. It didn't touch my house because I had my gray water just run out on the lawn. My wash machine, kitchen sink, shower and stuff like that went out on both sides of my house, plus my drain field. So because I had some green grass around my house, because it was coming in so fast, it just went around my house.
That's all right. Good.
But my father-in-law lived right next to me, and he didn't have that, and he had a house, 2 garages, a barn, sheds, everything, and it took him out. Everybody across the street from me, and it went through. So that right there, which I was, because there's no response going into North Carolina. The reason why I was saying this, I know a wildfire ain't nothing like a hurricane or a flood or anything, but it did devastate. I won't want to ever go through that again because it took out half my town.
Well, here's the thing. That can't be very far from Fort Hood, right?
Oh, it is.
No,
it's way up there. It's way up there in BFE, Bernie. Trust me, it's way up. I had to pick him up. about 10 times a month and stuff. It's like, man, this is way out the way, man. But
I'll tell you what.
Ringgold is right there at the junction of US 81 and US 82. All right. Okay. Which it's. I live right on Highway 80, US 82, which 37 miles east of Wichita Falls.
What's the range of Chinook?
He's close to Oklahoma, Bernie, where he's at.
Yeah, I'm 3 miles from Oklahoma.
But I guess what I'm getting at is, Vince, what's the range on a Chinook? I imagine them boys out of Fort Hood could have helped if they wanted to.
Oh, easy. I mean, it'd been up there maybe hour and 10 minutes.
That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Don't take much.
Well, Right. The reason why I was saying this story and everything, yeah, it was devastating. You had fire. Every time you see any kind of fire, you got a little jumpy and everything. But what I'm getting at is my little town. Didn't even have a store in it. All right, it don't have a store. It had a post office which burned down in the fire, but that and a fire department, volunteer fire department, and that was it for the town. But that night, because it happened during the day, by the time that evening rolled around, and the next morning, we had every news crew that you could possibly think of in front of my house, because I had a wide shoulder, so they were just lined up. We had CNN, MSNBC. We had all the every world news crew in Ringgold, Texas.
Yeah.
The next
so
day.
How come these news crews aren't in the middle of Western North Carolina? Is what you're getting at?
That's right. And I even had that the next day. They focused on my house because I didn't get anything. Nothing happened to my house. All right. But my father-in-law's house next to it, it took the whole house down. But the only thing that was standing was this chimney.
Mm-hmm.
And his house was 30 yards, at least maybe 30 yards, next to me. And so they focused that on and everything else like that. And the next day, I had Rick Perry knocking on my door.
Well, Vince, what do you think? I mean, why is it that the government of the local area, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, that area, Tennessee, where are they? What's going on, bro?
Well, they're focused on the election, but here's the deal. Even during election years, Americans are still in need. I got it. Again, Trump was down there. Trump went down there. He was walking through the muck and the mud, and he was there assuring them it's on the way. It's on the way. So when you're looking the other way, and the excuse like Kamala, well, she was at a fundraiser out in Las Vegas or California or whatever. And then they talk about Biden. They asked him on when he was doing like an update, I guess you want to call it that. It's not much of an update, but anyway, they asked him who was in command when all these storms were coming in. And what he said was, they go, "We heard you was on the beach." He goes, "Well, I was on the beach, but I had a telephone. I was in command." That's your answer, hero? How come you didn't go to the Emergency Operations Center? For the people that don't understand what that is, it's an acronym for EOC. It's an Emergency Operations Center, and that's where all the big hitters and the people that make decisions go. And you're there for a reason, because you coordinate.
Yeah.
And again, why they're not there?
Well, Bernie and I discussed this earlier in private and stuff. But, those are generally red states out there, man. You know what I mean? So the longer they can keep these people in peril out there as well, it's less votes coming in against them and stuff. And I truly believe that. Now, don't get me wrong, Bernie. I've got a lot of liberal views and stuff, man. I've got people on both sides of the aisle, Democrats, Republicans, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that isn't fair, man. It's a strategic thing here. You know what I'm saying? If you got people sitting out there and you're going, well, they can vote against us, why get them help? You know what I mean? Don't do that, man. I'm telling you, because people remember, dude, because there's Democrats out there in that state, too, who's going to go, if they don't vote against you, they won't vote for you. And guess what? That's just as bad, man.
I can't argue with you. But, Shane, I got another question for you. Let's talk a little bit. I heard that there were some truck tires being slashed at, some of the trucking plazas in East Tennessee, heading into the mountains of East Tennessee and Western North Carolina. Have you heard anything about that?
I didn't hear about that till you mentioned it to me earlier, and Troy had came in on that, and Man, I've never seen anything like that in my life because truck drivers generally, we still pretty much stick together out here. We wake up and somebody's getting a tire cut. Guess what? We're coming out with a cheetah bar or something like that to pop somebody upside the butt. You know what I mean?
Uh-oh.
And stuff. So, man, we just don't do that to each other. So that wasn't a truck driver that done that. But what I understand is the 50 trucks that were the tires were damaged had supplies heading over to North Carolina and to the disaster areas and stuff. You know what I'm saying? These are relief trucks and stuff, man. These guys are, truck drivers. Like, hey, man, we got to get it done. Throw me a FEMA sticker on the dash and stuff, man. I ain't stopping no scale, nothing. I'm rolling. We got to get over and get these people some help. And why would somebody do that? Why would somebody, how did they know what 50 trucks it was? You know what I mean? There had to be some kind of hacking going on or something. Somebody put that together to know what trucks to damage,
Well, Troy, do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I've read on it and everything else like that. And this stuff happened. The same thing happened up there in Mount Vernon, Texas, too.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
They can come in. The way they did it, they can come in real without anybody knowing it. They'll take a sharp metal pin. It's real sharp. And all you got to do is hit the sidewall of the tire. It'd be real quick. You just walk by and boop, 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 and the air will leak down slowly. So, like I said, if somebody went up to a truck tire and took a knife and just slashed it, there's 120 pounds of pressure coming out of that. Everybody out there has probably seen a truck tire blow going down the road.
Yeah, it
will just come apart. That's what will happen if you put a knife into a tire and try to slash it that quick. It's just going to explode. But if you stick like a dart, they probably something had a little bit bigger than a dart. But if you stick just a little bitty pinholes on the sidewall, they can't fix it.
Yeah,
and they can go in and devastate the outside tires. They can go to the inside tires. The only thing I can think of is how they target it is because if you do have, haul FEMA supplies and everything else like that, you do have a piece of paper on your windshield, on the side, on the dash. That way, FMCSA rules don't apply pretty much to you.
What's FMCA?
Federal Motor Safety FMCSA.
Federal Motor Safety Association.
Man, y'all got to cut me some slack. I've never driven a truck in my life.
Okay, but if you have that paper or if you have that sticker or anything like that, you can go over your 80,000 pounds of gross. They can load that truck from front to back. You
don't have to run on logbook, all that stuff.
You don't have to run logbooks, everything. You just keep driving because it's a emergency situation. So you have to have a sticker on there. So I'm thinking people are just going around because they don't have anything to do, and they're just going through these truck stops and they're just targeting these trucks. I can go in with that deal and just go around the truck real quick.
Yeah. Well, Vince, what do you think? Somebody, you think this was orchestrated?
Well, it certainly sounds like it. I mean, we could go a couple of ways. I mean, we call them road pirates, the Troy and Shane. The road pirate is people that will steal the stuff out of the back of your trailer while you're in your sleeper. So I don't know, say a road pirate knows that these trailers are full of relief equipment, food, waters, medicines. So they will slow them down so they can steal. Okay, that's one option. Another option is why you would make it political when people are in need like that. I can't imagine even the bad guy wanting to do that, but it's got to be money or politics. It's got to.
That's not a criminal. That's not a criminal doing that. A criminal, man. The criminals out there generally, they're like, They're out there trying to feed their families too, Vince. So they're not going to try to destroy something that's gonna reach people to get them help. You know what I mean? I just don't see that. That's not a guy that's going, damn, I got to come up with $1,000 by the end of the week to pay my rent and stuff, man. A lot of guys, man, end up in criminal stuff because they can't get a job because they're a felon or something like that. They have issues on their record, but they're not going to be out there slashing truck tires unless there's a big payoff for them or something like that. You know what I mean? And I'm seeing the payoff being, hey, I know some people. Let's get this done. Come on, man. 50 trucks, that's unheard of, man. 50 trucks getting their tires cut. That's just, it's not, it's unheard of.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So we still got to go back to the question is, what's really the motive here? Well, I mean, why would anybody want to do this? You know?
That's crazy, man. Well, let me ask y'all another question, related to logistics, since you are the Texas truckers. By the way, people don't know that before Vince came into the military, he was around trucking as well. He knows how to drive. So
I was a kid in the truck with this guy. I'm telling you, the little bitty half pint guy riding with my cousin Vince and stuff. Man, come on, boy, get in the truck. So I can testify. He owned trucks. He was a true truck driver.
Man, let me tell you something. Me and Vince were in Iraq. And, when you're on those long plane flights and you're sitting around with nothing to do, you get to know each other real well. So he told me about his time in the trucking business. And, to tell you the truth, when we got out, when we retired, we thought about going into the trucking business ourselves. But they offered him full colonel, and I'd had enough of it. So there you go.
you might have to believe this with Bernie, but a truck driver story always starts out with, "You ain't gonna believe this shit."
You ain't gonna believe it. Look, let's move on to this longshoreman strike. I've heard there's been some developments in there, and that they've postponed it. But which one of y'all want to talk about? Shane, what do you think about that? Do you know anything about it?
I just seen it on the news, and I understand somebody wanting to raise, man, but man, if we went to our company and told them we wanted a 62% raise over what was it, 5 years, Bernie?
6 years.
6 years. They would go, you would bankrupt us, man. We can't even compete at that kind of rate. Luckily we work for a company that pays us well. I mean, we're very happy where we're at, but because Troy and I work for the same operation, but man, I don't see how that's feasible. We're already struggling, man, to put bread on the table, man, to pay our electric bill and things of that nature. So why would you ask for that much money? I mean, they even offered 50% up front, and I'm like, we couldn't get a 50% pay increase, man. Maybe a couple, 3 more cents a mile. I'd be like, I'd be happy to get that. But once again, we work for a company that takes care of us, man. So I don't understand it, man. Can somebody help me out with this? I don't get it, man. You know what I'm saying? I can understand, hey, my benefits ain't that good or something like that, but these guys are already making $100,000 a year, which is way above the national average. It's way above the national average.
They're making more than that. The base pay of up there is $84,000. That's just going in the door.
Mm-hmm.
These guys been there 2 or 3 years and everything else like that. They're making $150,000-$200,000 a year.
Right.
And they're home every night. We're not making that, brother.
And now they got this 60% pay increase, so now they're going to make well over $250,000 a year.
Well, I think it's kind of
unloading
funny.
A truck.
Isn't it kind of funny, Vince, that all of a sudden I think they've come to a halt on the strike, and it was Miss Harris who magically, negotiated the ending of it. Doesn't that sound a little fishy to you?
Oh, that's like I'm going to break it on the backside and don't tell nobody I'm going to break it because I've already got the fix. So it sounded like to me maybe that was done behind the scenes prior to, and oh, by the way, it just happened to fall in to an election year, and so they're seeing her as the savior on the white horse riding in with her sword up in the air, and woo, look what she did. She saved our nation. But here's the deal. people don't understand the importance of these truck drivers and the shoremen that load and unload those canisters, those big old 40-foot containers that go out to other countries and they come in from other countries. And these guys, these shoremen that have went on a strike, they understand. If you were to put all the shoremen on the East Coast and the West Coast, and then you take the truck drivers and throw in the mix, and everybody went on a week strike, you would cripple not only our nation, but the rest of the world as well. Because that is what we call logistics. You see these truck drivers going down the highway, they are bringing you clothes, they're bringing you water, they're bringing you food. Everything you do on a daily basis, they're doing this for you, and they get more crap and regulations thrown at them on a daily basis. But as far as these guys striking on these longshoremen striking, I'm kind of like Shane and Troy. Dude, you're already making $200,000 a year. You probably got a third-grade education, for God's sakes. And I'm not saying that's a big deal. What I'm saying is that you're being a little bit greedy here. But here's what we got to think about. Kind of what you was kind of getting to there, Bernie, was I can see how this was orchestrated through some of the other people in the past that's still active, which they don't want to act like they are, but they're still active. This is the previous presidents, not a president, but presidents and political people in Senate and in Congress. I can see them orchestrating this because you got a lot of people. Well, they can't do that. Don't tell me that. They do a lot of things. They do a lot of things.
Let me tell you what Bernie said earlier. They've got this strike ended till, what was it, January 15th, Bernie?
Yes, sir.
Well, guess what's after January 15th? The election's over with, man. The election's over with, man. Now you guys can go back on strike because I got the presidency. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Come on, man. You've got to look at everything from every angle, but that's the magic number right there. November 5th this year is the election?
Yes, sir.
And stuff, the election's over with. She's sworn in at that point if she wins and stuff. But guess what? You guys can go back on strike now. I don't care what y'all do at this point and stuff, man. That's the kind of stuff that me and my truck drivers talk about out here, economy, and how we're going to support our families, because not only are we paying the normal bills that you guys are paying, we gotta pay for our own food and everything out here on the road. That's another expense on top of the about a $7,500 increase on our health care due to Obamacare and stuff. And people go, well, you can afford it. Bro, I make good money so I can live better, man, not to give it back to government and all this other stuff,
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, January 15th is a magic number and stuff, man. If she wins the election and stuff, she's in, and she goes, do what you want to do, and she ain't going to give a shit about the American people and the economy until about 11 months before the next election, man.
Shane, you sound almost as cynical as me. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Hey, man, I'm a deep concentration always,
Woo, Lordy. Look, let's just break this down. Bottom line, Trump versus Kamala. Who you got?
Well,
right now?
you know who I got. I think you know who we all got. We all got Trump.
I want you to hear it. I want to hear it.
We all got Trump because we've all lived under a Trump presidency, man. I'm going to tell you, under every Democrat that I've ever been under, and I'm telling you, this is the truth. I go every year and I file my taxes with my family. I get about $1,700 back. You know what I mean? Thank God I got something back. I go when Trump changes the tax law, and I go in and my ex-wife and I, we file together, and they go, you're getting $5,400 back this year. And I went, hey, y'all made a mistake. Something's wrong. That's not possible. They go, yeah, under the new tax law, you get all these deductions and all this. So at that point, I don't even have to show my log books to get a per diem. You know what I mean? I didn't have to write nothing off. I just straight easy tax. I got $5,400 back, and that helped my ex-wife and I, man, to pay up some things or get some stuff that we needed and stuff, and we did very well. As soon as President Biden got in, my God, my taxes went astronomical within, what was it, about 8 months after he got into office? I'm going, man, where's all my money going? Where's all my money
Yeah.
going? What was it, 2 weeks after he got in office, my gas bill on my vehicles doubled. You
Mm.
know what I mean? And I'm going, oh, what's going on? And I'm saying it's economic for me because I've always been the breadwinner for my family. So it's Troy, so it's Vince, and I'm sure you, Bernie. We're the ones that go out here and we say, baby, don't worry about it. I got it. Let me go out here and sacrifice and stuff. When you're putting all this money, they're taking it from you before you even see it. You're going,
Yeah.
oh my God. So definitely, Trump economy was 100% better than any economy I'd seen since Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton's economy was incredible. I
Yeah.
voted for Bill Clinton, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm liberal on some things and I'm conservative on others. I try to stay in the middle. But when it comes time to vote, I got to vote for the person that's going to give me the advantages in America and to move forward,
That makes sense. Troy, what do you think?
Oh, I'm going for Trump. Me personally, I looked on who was actually running for independent.
Mhm.
All right, and neither one of them. No, it would be a whole lot worse. But I just I just got to the point. All right, people don't like Trump. People, what Trump don't want to do. People don't like what Harris is doing and everything else like that. Well, we got Democrat and Republican in the House and Senate and and Congress and all that. And a few days ago or here lately, I just said, look, why don't everybody just vote for the independent? Put an independent in the White House. We got Democrat and Republican in the Senate and the Congress and everything. Guess what? None of those guys have a party in the White House.
That's true.
But after I've read who it is, I'd rather vote for either a Democrat or Republican. But no, I'm solely on Trump.
Copy that. Judd, what do you think?
Well, kind of like in the military, we say we got to peel the onion back a little bit. We got to look at this, look at that. Well, first off, Kamala can't do the job. And I tell anybody that I talk to, what it really boils down to is they do not like Trump. It's not the fact that he did a better job at it, is they just do not like him as a person. And I am not voting for him. I personally will vote for Trump, let you know right up front. Kamala cannot do the job. That'd be like me hiring a welder to fly the airplane. Just not going to work. She can't do the job. She didn't do anything as San Francisco when she was what? District attorney. She didn't do anything for California when she was the AG. She did nothing as senator, and she's held true because she's done nothing as a vice president. She's nothing but a showboat. She gets up there and smiles and waves and does her thing. But you and I have both been around the world. We have dealt with some of the worst. And can you imagine sending a female in to talk to the people we've talked to in Afghanistan, to the people we've talked to in Iraq? Those sheiks would get up and, well, first off, they wouldn't show up if they thought they were going to have to negotiate with a female. They wouldn't show up. They just wouldn't do it.
I don't want to sound sexist, but you are correct. People sometimes assume that the rest of the world is like America. And the thing that I try to get across to people that don't know is that America is like a jewel. The things that we can do here, the things that women can do here are unique. And you go over to, especially in the Muslim world, and it's just like you said, those people in charge, they treat women very, very badly in most cases.
Yeah.
Now, see, I love America because I love women. You know what I'm saying? Hey, ladies, I love y'all and everything. You know what I mean? I love the fact that a woman can get up, go to work just like I can to help me pay them bills, dog.
Go get my money.
Yeah. Help me pay this rent. Help me pay this mortgage, mama. You know what I'm saying? But, as a women in this country, they're unique. And,
Yes.
I love them. I respect them. You know what I'm saying? I try to make sure that they got what they need, and You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to get that in there and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
It is dangerous when you start doing that, though. Because they don't respect Americans, period, and they surely aren't going to respect an American woman. And that's bad. It's bad for us at the end of the day because we can't get anything done.
Agreed.
There's two things. Let's just say she was a strong female. Let's lie to each other for a second and say she's a strong, smart female. And when I say lie, I mean lie, because she's not either one of those.
All right.
She cannot do the job. At the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, can she do the job? And the answer is no, she cannot do the job. Okay, so let's think about this. Again, let's peel the layers of the onion back a minute. We've already had President Trump for 4 years. We know what he's about. We had independence when it comes to petroleum, oil, gas lines, oil lines running from Alaska all the way down to Houston that he had going. He had pretty much crippled Russia with their oil. That, by the way, when Biden got in office, he gave it right back to him. To the point, Biden and them have broke us down so hard, we're literally buying oil from Russia, from Venezuela, Saudi Arabia. Under Trump, we did not do that. We did not do that. This lady has absolutely no clue what I'm talking about. I promise you. Her and I could not have this conversation because she'd be giving me that deer in the headlight look. To the audience, a deer in the headlight look, it means I have no clue what you're saying. The only thing I'm hearing you come out of your mouth is wah, 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 because I don't know. So she cannot do that. He can. We had a good economy. People made money. Even though he wasn't for the Obamacare, what he did do for the Obamacare, when McCain did what he did when he was the last vote and knocked it out of the water, what Trump did, and a lot of people don't even realize this, he told his people, well, we're stuck with it, so try to make it as good as you can. He tried to fix it. It's kind of like taking a house that you really don't want the house because it looks like crap. But, we're stuck with it, so let's do some remodeling and see if we can fix it up a little bit. That's what he did. Him and his people tried to fix up the Obamacare as best they could. But we still got it. But everybody don't give him a chance. But they hate Trump. That's the biggest deal. So, Kamala, let's sum it up. You can't do the job, my friend. Tim Waltz, you're a coward, my friend. You sent your people to war. You're straight up a coward. How the hell you did 12 years in Congress, how you are a governor today, only God knows the answer to that question, because you're not good at any of this. And on that debate stage the other night, if nobody didn't notice, this guy was so nervous. And in several different times, if Bernie and I are trained in military intelligence and propagandas and psychological operations. So we watch people, we watch their demeanor, we watch their face, we watch their eyes, even the muscles in your face. This dude 2 or 3 times went red-faced as he possibly could get, almost instantly. But what that tells you from, what you're looking at, this guy was so nervous, I promise you, he was about to throw up at times. He was a fish out of water. J.D. Vance walked all over him.
He sure did.
But he did it as a gentleman. That was one of probably the best debates I've seen in a while, because they were both gentlemen about what they did and the way they presented themselves. Even though the moderators did exactly what they said they wouldn't do. They said they wouldn't fact check him. They did it anyway. Him being J.D. Vance, they did fact checking. And when he tried to respond to that, they turned off his mic. I'm going to tell you something. He's a better man than me. I'd have walked myself off of that stage and went over there and turned my mic back on, and I would have looked at those ladies, and I would have told them, don't ever do that to me again. I'd have put the fear of God in those two. And I went back to my podium and went back at it. But that was wrong what they did.
Yeah.
So just like the Trump and Kamala, J.D. Vance had 3 against him, just like Trump did.
Yep.
So the answer to the whole question is kind of take it backwards a little bit. Trump can do the job, and he's only going to get 4 years. Let's think about this. So let's just say that he gets in there and does a terrible job. And I don't believe that at all. I think he's going to do a great job. We get rid of him in 4 years if big old fat if he doesn't do what he's already promised and shown us that he can do, which he will. And he does not get punked out on the national stage. And for you folks that hadn't been living on the block in the past, I was a thug monkey on the block years ago.
You ain't supposed to talk about that.
Yeah.
Colonel.
But here's the deal. So when I say punked out is when you get punked out when you're out on the street, that means somebody come up and talk trash to you, beat you down, and you didn't fight back. He's not that guy. He's the guy that's going to stand up and fight back. He is not a punk. He is not a punk. He will stand up and fight. He showed that more than once. Can you imagine Kamala going toe-to-toe or face-to-face with Putin, Xi,
That worries me, bro.
Venezuela, Iran? I mean, even President Obama, when he went to Iran that time, when they made that deal and gave him, $250 billion, whatever it was, craziness, but the Ayatollah of Iran told at the time, and I'll tell your audience, I voted for President Obama twice. I did. But at the time, I thought he was a guy that could do some good. I really did. First 4, he didn't do bad. The second 4, he pretty much fell on his face. However, when he was in Iran, we are the supreme commanders. We, the United States of America. As of today, we are the supreme commanders everywhere we go. The Ayatollah, which is the president of Iran, told Obama with John Kerry, Hillary Clinton, while you're in my country, you will refer to me as the supreme commander. Do you know what they did? They did it. They being Obama and that whole little thing, diplomatic bunch he had with him. The whole time they were there, they referred to the Ayatollah of Iran as the supreme commander. Trump would not have done that. Trump would have told him, stick it in your ass. That's not happening.
I think Trump would have handled it totally differently.
Yes,
I think
sir.
you are correct,
you
sir.
Remember, if you don't remember when we were having the G7 summit or something like that, was it the leader of Spain that tried to cut in front of Trump, get in front of Trump, and Trump grabbed him by the shoulder and pulled him behind him like, nah, man, you don't belong in front of me.
It was one of them.
Trump didn't go, hey, sir, you're cutting in front of me. He went, hey, get back in your place where you belong. We go in the front. You know what I mean?
Shane, you got me about to start cussing. You need to stop now. Come on.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what me and Vince come from. We didn't let people run us over, man. You know what I mean? We grew up you know, on the lower side of town. You know, we didn't have a lot when we were growing up and stuff, man. But you know, Vince showed me at a young age of how to get money, man, of how to work and take care of my business, man. You know what I mean? And even in my adult life, if I'm making mistakes, he's the guy that calls up and goes, hey, do I need to take you down to the park and have an intervention with you? You know what I mean?
Well, don't feel bad. He does the same thing to me.
You know, I say he's always been my guy since the day I was born. He's always been my guy, man.
Well, I hear you, bro. Well, look, I done had y'all on here for well over an hour, and I still got more questions, but I want to start with each one of you, and I want to ask you to just say whatever you want to the people. Let's start with Troy. Troy, the floor, sir, is now yours. Whatever you want to say.
Okay. All right. Yeah, everybody, pretty much everybody out there and everything, everybody's is under stress. You know, what's happening with the election, the economy, we're paying double on utility bills, on food, everything else like that. Now we got this, you know, a natural disaster that just hit the Carolinas. They're saying there may be another hurricane coming in. You know, it might hit, but this one might hit Texas. But everybody's under stress. The pay increase is not going, everything else like that. And, I go all over the country and out here and everything else like that. I don't even, like us truck drivers going into the truck stop and everything. Back in the day, we used to sit out and pick the tables and just talk. And, you don't see that anymore. People are, they got other things they're thinking of. How am I going to pay this bill? Am I going to make enough money? So people are not nice to each other like they used to. You might say, hi, how you doing? That's about it. Or you may just walk into the truck stop or walk in somewhere. You may not even say a word to them. What I'm getting at is I know it's tough out here and everything, but we kind of got to get back to communication, face-to-face communication.
Yeah.
The electronics, the texting, I've seen it. I could be, like I said, I could be sitting here and somebody could be 5 feet away from me and they'll text me.
Yeah.
That I'll just kind of look at them like, I'm right here, right? But nobody wants to talk face to face anymore.
Yeah.
It's all on all on texting and and emails and stuff like that. What I'm just getting at is we got to everybody's kind of got to get back into communication again. I'm not really, and hopefully whoever gets in office, if it's Trump, if it's Kamala or whatever, we got to get back to where we can actually afford to live out here. All right. Like I said, I work for the same company that Shane does and everything. They do, we do a pretty good living with this company and everything. It's pretty, I'm not going to say, but it's pretty much more money than I made in the last 35 years, and I can't make ends meet on this,
Yeah.
I don't have anything, hardly anything left on my paycheck because I'm paying these high food bills. I'm paying these high electric bills. I'm paying these high water bills. My land taxes has gone up. Everything's just gone up. Gas has gone up. And I just want to tell the American, look, we need a break. American people need a break. We, quit being, we just, I don't know how much more that we can take. So basically, because of all this, everybody is taking it out on everybody else.
Totally understand, brother. I get it.
You can't right now. You can't get 3 truck drivers to agree on anything without arguing or or calling them names or something like that. You can't. And out on the road, driving down the road, if people see a truck or if we got in their way for 10 seconds too long or something like that, or somebody got in somebody's way for 10 seconds too long on the road, they want to dart out in front of you, hit the brakes, or try to run you off the road. Or it's not just trucks and cars. I've seen it in cars and cars. I've seen it with trucks and trucks.
So I guess what you're saying is people need to just be a little bit nicer to each other, huh?
Yeah, it just look at the facts of what's going on out here. Don't think, especially in a political standpoint, what Vince was saying. don't look at the person the way how the person is. Oh, I don't like him because he tweeted something wrong, or I don't like Kamala because she said something that this group didn't like. Look at the person, what they can actually do the best for this country, to where we can get back to where we can afford to live, where we can make a good a good living, have some money left in the bank at the end of the paycheck, at the end of the day. Look at what they can do, not who the person. Oh, a personal problem. You have somebody. I just don't like this person. I don't like how his face, or how his hair is, or because they always say Trump or they call him the Orange Man or something like that because he tans. Who cares about that? I care about my family. I care about take care of them. I care about and everybody needs to look at that. All right, they can do this the best for us, where I can actually take care of my family comfortably.
Copy that. I totally get it. So Shane, what do you think?
First of all, I want to say what's up to Constance, man. I got to get that in there while I'm on here, guys. You know what I'm saying?
Who's Constance?
That's my lady, man. That's my new lady and stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Say hello to her real quick, But let's get to this. I want to get back to living comfortable, like Troy was talking about. I've got Democrats heavy in my family, and there's been a hell of an uproar. This stuff is dividing families, Bernie. I've got my sister and Vince's sister. Man, dude, I don't even get on the Facebook no more and look at that. They argue back and forth about Trump and Harris and stuff. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I don't want to get involved in that, man. I'm just going to go to the polls and vote for who I think is the best person, and I hope the best person gets in there. I love my sister. I love my cousin. I love my whole family. And that's where we were raised with our grandmother, man. At the end of the day, family's stronger than anything. You know what I mean? My grandmother raised us to, if you see your neighbor in trouble, help your neighbor. You know what I mean? Bring food to them. Do whatever you have to do to them. So, if you're doing better, help somebody who's not. You know what I mean? And that's always been Vince and I. We've always been like that. Somebody can cuss us one day and call us in trouble the next, man, and we'll go, we're on the way. You know what I mean? And I wish the whole country would get back to that, man. I love life. I try to wake up happy and stuff, but yeah, we've got to get back to where we can live. Our finances, I do well. Like I said, Troy and I do well, but man, it ain't paying what it used to pay for.
Yeah.
I mean, how did just to rent an apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment, and this ain't the best side of town either, man. $1,600 a month. Well, if you've got say like my ex-wife, a single mother, I'm paying my child support and I'm paying my alimony, but she struggles every week, man, to pay stuff, and it's like, that isn't fair, man, because it ain't just her. It's all the other families out there that are struggling, man. Let's take care of our people first before we take care of anybody else. How we give Ukraine billions of dollars, but we can't get a case of water to North Carolina, man. Something's wrong there.
Now you're about to get me cussing again.
Come on with it, number 7. Come on with it and stuff. But life has got to get better for us. We got to pray on it. We got to ask God to guide us, man. To try to be better people every day when we wake up. And there's been times in my life, especially over the last year, where I wasn't there, but God got me through, man. You know what I mean? He got me through. Like the old footprint poem and stuff that was hanging in my grandmother's house. There was only one set of footprints. Well, that was Jesus carrying me the whole time, man. You know what I mean?
Amen.
It wasn't my footprints. That was a good Lord carrying me, and He carries me every day, So
I understand totally.
Let's get that out there. I'm gonna let my cousin talk now. The Colonel. he's gonna be mad because he didn't get to speak first. You know, he the supreme leader on this call. You know who
Well, I figured I'd hold him to the last. He's supposed to bring us home.
Ain't no doubt, no doubt.
All right, Stud, it's your turn.
Well, first and foremost, let's stop being Democrat. Let's stop being Republicans. Let's stop being independent. Let's go back to being Americans, standing shoulder to shoulder.
Amen.
I walk across out to my truck this morning. I look over at Shane's yard. I know he's on the truck. His yard needs to be mowed. How about if I go over and mow his yard for him? How about if I help that lady down the road when we go to the grocery store? How about if I help her get her groceries to her car? We need to go back to being Americans, good Americans. We're too worried about, and those people in D.C., they're not worried about money. They got plenty of money. It's all about status and power is all this is. That's silly and ridiculous at this point. Silly and ridiculous. We need to be Americans and Americans first. We are the supreme commanders. We need to put the right people in the right spot for the right reason. Our past election, that did not happen. Don't like Trump, do like Trump, it doesn't matter. He did a better job than what you're going to get if you vote for Kamala. You have got to know that and see that. And Shane, if you don't get that thing out from in front of that damn camera.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
One more time.
Oh, I'll see you on Tuesday. Don't start with me. Don't start with me. I'll see you on Tuesday on the Mexican food restaurant joint, man.
But anyway, we got to get back out there and do our thing. But we got to be Americans more than anything. We have got to be Americans. Americans and Americans first.
That's right.
And Americans are supposed to love each other, man. Come on with it, cuz. Come on with it. Preach, cousin. Preach.
Well, Vince, Vince, I thought you were going to say that's number 2 when you were doing it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That's number 2.
Oh, Lord. What are we going to do with y'all?
Yeah, he loved me. I might get to 4 or 5 with him. He loved me. I'm good.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Troy's talking about that guy. That guy was debating me, and he was being rude and disrespectful to me. And I told him, don't do that. And then he did it for the second time. And I said, that's number 2. Don't make it number 3. You'll see what's going to happen. Are you threatening me, Colonel Kraft? No, sir. That would be a promise. I will give you an ass whooping.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to say that's number 2.
Oh, look, fellas, I'm gonna tell you something.
Okay.
I just enjoy talking to y'all. Y'all are about as real as it gets, and I hope that we can do this routinely because I enjoy your company, and you guys are just what America's all about: hardworking men taking care of their families and doing the right thing, paying too much in taxes, and I trust either one of you within my life. I know you guys are good men, and people want to hear from you. So I just want to thank you for coming onto the program. And as far as I'm concerned, like I said, you guys are the Texas truckers, and we're going to have you on this podcast routinely from now on.
All right. Sounds good.
Hey, can I get a quick sound off from my 82nd Airborne son, Micaiah Hubbard, man? He's down there serving his country. He's at Fort Bragg or Fort Liberty, how they say. He's down there right now and stuff, standing for his country, man.
As it should be. Anybody else?
I'm good. I appreciate it. Your audience, keep listening, keep looking, hit the like button. You ain't going to get a better man. Bernie Flowers, Colonel Flowers, my battle buddy. We've been there and back together. We've been through the good. We've been through the bad. We've seen blood. We've seen wine. But at the end of the day, you know what we were? We were Americans, and we had each other's back.
Amen.
I think you can probably look at this podcast and look at him.
Bernie, I've heard about
you.
He's
a black man. He's a black man. You look at me, I'm a white man, but you know what? He is as much of a brother to me as any blood brother, and that's the way it's supposed to be. If he needs me, I'll be there. And I'm pretty sure the same thing with me. If
You
I
don't
need
have to
him,
worry
he'll
about
be
that.
there.
You know that. I'll be there if time comes. But I'm bringing hell with me.
That's exactly what it's about right there. Well, thank you for having me on today. Appreciate it.
Gentlemen, you guys are awesome. I am so thrilled to have you on. And as I said before, we're going to do this periodically. And, Troy, where are you now again? And
All right. It's Anderson, Indiana. It's close to Muncie, Indiana. It's just north of Indianapolis on Interstate 69.
All right, Shane, where are you?
I'm gonna give you a view of where I'm at and stuff, man. I literally downtown Seattle, Washington. We're gonna go out the window.
Uh-oh.
Do you not see the metropolitan area?
Uh-oh. I do.
Yeah, I am in downtown Seattle, Washington.
Wow.
Yeah, you still have sun out there. It's dark on the East Coast right now. Eastern time right now. It's dark.
Yeah. And Vince, you're down in Houston?
I'm down here in Houston at my son's house. Going to be with my grandkids a couple of days. My son and his wife, they're going to go out and check on her grandma. So I get to hang out with my grandkids a couple of days, and don't get no better than that. It's kind of what we work for. I know you got a little grandbaby now. I know you know the feeling, and I think the other two, they've got grandchildren as well. So it don't get no more special than being around them grandkids, I tell you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, fellas, y'all, I have taken up enough of your time. We've been on here an hour and a half, and it's gone by short. It's gone by short.
I told you get truck drivers on the phone and stuff, bro. We might be in here to midnight and stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I gotta get some sleep. I gotta get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Woo!
So.
I'll think about
fellas.
this, Troy, while I'm back there with my CPAP machine, man, in La La Land.
Oh, I took a nap. I took about an hour and a half nap because I already knew. I said before this podcast, I said I better just take me a nap because I wasn't sure how long we were going to be on here. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Yeah. Bernie, anytime that you want to do a podcast, just let me know, and I'm there.
All right. Well, we'll be in touch.
We're going to get you a Valium or something next time, Troy. You look like you're a little nervous this time. Look like you got a little stage fright on me, brother.
Well, I did. Well, I mean, it's just not me talking to you or just like before. We're talking to a lot of people now. You
all did just fine, and I just appreciate it.
Next time, I already know what's going on, on the podcast and stuff like this. This is my first time doing a podcast, so next time I won't be as nervous.
You did fine. You did fine. Don't you listen to Shane here steer you down the primrose path.
I'm gonna tell you guys, everybody listening, Troy Tailor, that is a super trucker right there. I learned a whole lot from that guy out here, man. A whole lot, man.
Amen. All right, fellas, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Y'all have a great evening, and thank you for everything that you've said. People are gonna love this.
All right, thank you very much, Bernie. God bless you.
God bless you.
All right.
Have a good night.
Okay. God bless you.
All right.
Bye.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's about it for now. This has been the Loyal Opposition Podcast, produced in association with Fallback Productions and Veterans for America First. Please like, share, and subscribe as we try to grow the channel and protect America's middle class. Be sure to get your copy of my book, Black Values Matter, available as an ebook on Amazon, Audible, and Apple Books. And also, remember, it's okay to disagree. But if we want our country to prosper, we must insist on unity, transparency, and civility for ourselves and for our fellow citizens. Thanks for listening to the Loyal Opposition Podcast. We'll see you next week.